Hello and welcome to Hello by Felicia. This is going to be a video using your old projects that you forgot about. I was looking at my gel press and found all these old prints I'd made and decided to cut them up, embellish them a little bit with some glitter, and I'm just using what I have. So I'm making matching envelopes for the for what I already have. So what I'm starting with is a stencil that I used maybe 3 or 4 months ago, and I didn't really like what it looked like after I was done. So I just kind of put the project away, but I pulled it back out, and I'm just trying to see if I can find a fun way to repurpose the project. It was kind of a failure project in a sense, but yeah. Anyway, so I'm using some fluorescent paints that I got from Tuesday Morning. The stencil I think I got from Amazon. You can use anything here. You could use watercolor, acrylic, gouache, pencils. I added some glitter. Here I'm using some Stays-On ink, and then I start using some Distress Oxide ink by Tim Holtz. So I tend to like the ink blending rather than like the messier paint. So I like this a lot better than the messier paint. But now that I'm looking at it, now that it's finished, you know what? It's not so bad. So I just kept going. So there's 2 projects. One is the kind of messier paint, and then there's one that's more, it's a little cleaner card, I guess. This is the Distress Oxide ink, and I'm just making matching envelopes. I like a little bit of design on the flap, sometimes on the front. Use whatever you have. Find your old projects, grab them out, and just keep pushing instead of throwing them out or being discouraged. Just embellish them, add some glossy accents, add some, Nouveau drops, whatever you have to do. Just keep going. Yeah, I'm just trying to make this pop a little. It's the little details. So that was in like a black, and now I'm just adding a little bit of blue, just a little bit, and it's just those little things. And I use a lot of mixed media, so I may use Distress Oxide and then turn around and use Stays-On alcohol ink. So you can see I have a lot of these old projects. So some of them I didn't think were that usable, so I cut out pieces that I thought I could pop up on the card. So you can see what I'm doing here. I just used some double-sided pop-up tape, and I'm cutting it down because this is such a bright I used fluorescent paint. It's so bright, I decided to tone it down with black on the background and then putting it on a white card. Yeah, I'm just kind of messing around. At first I was going to put it on blue, and I just thought, I think my eye was doing way too much. So with the pop out, I'm adding a little bit of black around the edges. It makes it look a little more finished. I could have done a little better job here. But yeah, I just keep going. I got discouraged a couple of times, but decided just to keep going. Then I pulled out a mousehouse acrylic stamp, and I am going to be stamping that on the Distress Oxide ink stencil. So you can see I use that green faceplate, and then I haven't used those in forever. They're called Memento drops. I'm looking in my drawer right now just to see what the name of those actually are. Memento, yes. I'm just trying to use supplies that I have. With the gas prices so high and whatnot, I'm just trying to do the best that I can. I like mixed media, so I like mixing things up. So I'm stamping on a little bit of the tail and the hands separately, and then I'll go back in with some brown for the mouse, and then I'll go in with some black for those bees. And I like using the Misty stamping tool because if you were using a block here, there's no way. I would have had to start this project completely over 10 times. So I like the that I can keep stamping over and over and making it a little bit darker. So, I'm just using whatever I have. So I'm using a highlighter here for the bees. Then I'm grabbing a gel pen after that. That's an orange highlighter. I just add a little bit of highlights. I grabbed a gold gel pen. And what I did after this was add glossy accents, which really gave it a three-dimensional quality. I mean, this was, it really made the bees pop. I'm really happy with this. Now, in hindsight, I probably would have put on the glossy accents last, but, I kind of just, I just kind of craft as I go. I just kind of think through the problems as I go. And then I decided to add on the bees' wings a little gold glitter. That glossy accents dries hard, so the glitter is not going to get, when your recipient opens it up, that glitter will stay put. It's dried and it's permanent inside that glossy accents. Next, I grabbed some American Heritage blending markers and some Galaxy markers as well. That's a Galaxy marker. You can use that on black paper as well. I do the tail as well, and that I like it. It's really wet ink and it really gets good coverage. And then I go in with the American Heritage blending markers. And I'm not great at coloring. I just do the best I can, and I'm impressed after I'm done, actually. And I went ahead and stamped the rest of that stamp, which was some like poppies, and I colored it in and then added some Nuvo drops. And then just to make it a little more three-dimensional, around the edges, I even add like a clear, this might be a really light pink. A lot of my Nuvo drops are like, they're hardened. I can't even squeeze them out the bottle. So I was just grabbing whatever was available and what worked. And again, I'm adding some sparkle. I added some blue here and a little bit of purple. So it gives it a little more depth and a little more interest, I think, with that blue. I don't know. I think it really made a big difference. I was really happy with this card. So Then I decide I think that I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. I always use the glitter glue. That to me, it's the best glue for me. I was trying to use the tape and it was costing me a fortune. Yeah, I'm just kind of pushing it down, making sure it all adheres. Yeah, I'm really, really happy with this. Then I decide I'm going to stamp this. I thought I was going to cut one of these pieces out, so I ended up stamping 5 of them, and I may use them later. But I decided to go ahead and, in the end, just stamp it directly on the card. So, and I'm using different inks, mixing different types of inks, oxides, the stays on, the drops. So I'm just playing around, and I'm sure I'll use these in the end, but I didn't use them for this project. Yeah, so I went ahead and stamped it with the stays on and a little bit of that drops to give it some highlight. I'm just really digging that card and matching envelope. I don't go through so much of the next card, but you can kind of see what I did. I like this envelope. I made I think 10 or 15 matching envelopes, so I can use all those scraps and all those unused projects. But for today's cards, I focused mostly on that green one, and then I show you what I did with this other card as well. So that one's a little less controlled, but it's fun. So thank you for stopping by. Hope you try using some of your old projects. Have a beautiful day. And that's a mousehouse stamp. I love mousehouse. It might be my favorite stamps.